Welcome to the 2300 Pick 6 football site and podcast for news, scores, bets, fantasy, and chat. It will hit you like a QB getting sacked. Welcome to the 2300 Pick 6 podcast. I'm your host, Dave Walker, about to do the Season 2 edition of When DWALK Was Right and Where DWALK Was Wrong.
Where DWALK was right? Where DWALK was wrong.
Starting off, there were a lot of rights, and some wrongs. I didn't do too bad this week. I did very good. I won some money in the casino off of all these games this week. So we'll start off with our very, very first game, which is Ravens-Chiefs, which I got right picking the Chiefs.
Where DWALK was right?
In this game, the Chiefs hold off the Ravens 27-20 when review overturned touchdown on final play of NFL season opener. This game was a little bit delayed due to lightning in the area, which I can understand. You don't want to play out lightning. We don't need anybody getting killed. But this game began, we did have 2 Taylor Swift sightings, which wasn't as bad I could deal with. But if we do want to see someone with a concert, say his name and he shall appear. I wish we would have had a Joe Hendry concert. But all in all, I hope next week when the Chiefs play the Bengals this Sunday, I hope we don't have any Taylor Swift sightings. But a breakdown out of this game is Derrick Henry, a 5-yard run. Xavier Worthy, a 21-yard run on an end run, which was very good. So the Chiefs have something with him. Harrison Butker then the second quarter was a trade of field goal between Harrison Butker and Justin Tucker. They both had 2 field goals. Third quarter was an Isaiah Pacheco touchdown. Fourth quarter, Isaiah Likely, 49-yard touchdown pass. Xavier Worthy, 35-yard pass. And Justin Tucker, a 32-yard field goal. This game was very good and competitive, but due to one last final play where Isaiah Likely was on the line, did not stay in bounds. The Ravens could not go for 2, so they're unable to do it. All in all, after this, it will now be for next week. It will be the Ravens taking on the Las Vegas Raiders and the Chiefs taking on the Cincinnati Bengals. Breakdown of the leaders for this game for the Chiefs were Patrick Mahomes, 20 of 28, 291 yards, 1 touchdown and an interception. Isaiah Pacheco, 15 carries, 45 yards, 1 TD. And Rashid Rice, 7 receptions, 103 yards. This Sunday, the Chiefs play the Cincinnati Bengals, and the Ravens play the Las Vegas Raiders. Next game that I got right in the right and wrong, which I got wrong, I picked the Packers over the Eagles.
Where DWALK was wrong.
Barkley scores 3 touchdowns. The Eagles beat Packers 34-29 in Brazil. Packers Love injured in final minute. All right, before we get into this game, this is one of my friends who told me it's by the name of D.B. Richards or Dave Brocker. Shout out to you, bud. When someone literally, I think was in the military, wished a death threat to Jalen Carter. Don't go too far with this bullshit, okay? That was not his fault. That field was not the safest because Saquon Barkley literally tripped on it the first play from the drive and lost 5 yards out of it. And honestly, with Love got injured due to that field. You're in a country that you are not familiar with, and a field you're not familiar with. And also, this game should have stayed in the United States. I wouldn't have cared if it would have stayed in Philadelphia or if it had gone to Green Bay. That's where this game should have stayed in, not going to Brazil. They have their own soccer, their own football, which is soccer. But this should never happen, and it shouldn't take it that damn far with it. Breakdown out of this game. Braden Naverson, 31-yard field goal. Braden Naverson, 23-yard field goal. Saquon Barkley had an 18-yard pass from Jalen Hurts. Jaden Reed had a 33-yard run and a 2-point conversion fail for the Packers. Saquon Barkley, 11-yard run. Jaden Reed, 70-yard pass from Jordan Love. Jake Elliott, 38-yard field goal. Third quarter, A.J. Brown, 67-yard pass from Jalen Hurts. Christian Watson, 2-yard pass from Jordan Love. Saquon Barkley, 2-yard run. Braden Navarson, 26-yard field goal. Jake Elliott, 21-yard field goal. The Packers then tried in vain to try to come back, but then Jordan Love got injured. Then Malik Willis got sacked for the Hail Mary. Both of these teams did throw interceptions. And like I said, this was a very good and highly competitive game. I wish this would have been the United States. As for the Packers, they're going to be without Jordan Love for a while. I don't know how this is going to be. I don't know how the time frame he's going to be for. As for the Eagles, they start their home opener against the Atlanta Falcons this Monday. We'll wait and see how that occurs. But a breakdown out of this for the leaders for the Philadelphia Eagles. Jalen Hurts, 20 for 34, 270 yards, 2 touchdowns and 2 picks. Saquon Barkley, 24 carries, 109 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Saquon Barkley did the smartest thing was getting off the Titanic, of swimming out and going to Philadelphia. When we get to Giants-Vikings, be prepared. We're going to have a field day with that one. And A.J. Brown, 5 catch, 119 yards and 1 touchdown. The Philadelphia Eagles play the Atlanta Falcons this Monday night on Monday Night Football. The Green Bay Packers have a tough one against the Indianapolis Colts. Next game in the right and wrong that I got was in our 1 o'clock is Cardinals Bills. I got right picking the Bills.
Where DWALK was right.
Josh Allen throws 2 touchdown passes and runs for 2 others as Bills rise from a 38-28 win over the Cardinals. Watching this game, the Cardinals had this one literally in check. They almost would have beat the Bills, but Josh Allen came back and got the comeback out of this one. Now, this is only one game. We can't prove it was Stephon Diggs or him, so this is going to prove was it Diggs or him. We got to go a couple more games into to see who was it really. As for the Cardinals, they did put up a fight as best they could, but unfortunately they could not close out the game and they let the Bills come back. Breakdown out of this game was Michael Wilson, a 5-yard pass from Kyler Murray. Matt Prater, 29-yard field goal. Tyler Bass, a 37-yard field goal. James Conner, a 3-yard run. Josh Allen, a 7-yard run. Matt Collins, 11-yard pass from Josh Allen. Khalil Shakir, 11-yard pass from Josh Allen. Matt Prater, 31-yard field goal. Josh Allen, 6-yard run. DJ Dowse with this was tackler, 96-yard kickoff return, thanks to the new kickoff return. James Conner run for 2-point conversion was successful. And then Tyler Bass got a 39-yard field goal. Leaders for the Bills was Josh Allen, 18 for 23, 232 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's Cook. Is it Jamar or Josh Cook? Oh, James Cook. James Cook, 19 carries, 71 yards, and Keon Coleman, 4 catches for 51 yards. The Bills this Thursday play against the Miami Dolphins. As for the Cardinals, they will be playing the Los Angeles Rams without Puka Nacua, who is out for 4 weeks. So that one is a little bit of a tough one, so I'll wait and see when I get to that game. Next game in the right and wrong, which I got, well, this is already wrong here. Patriots-Bengals, I got wrong picking the Bengals.
Where DWALK was wrong.
Patriots win Gerard Mayo's debut as coach, beating mistake-prone Bengals 16-10. Jacoby Brissett didn't look that good in his start. The Bengals really, as it looks like the curse of Joe Burrow lives on in week 1, is the Patriots team. I really did not think that they were going to win this game. I thought they would lose maybe by a score or 2 or by a field goal. And, Wolf, if you happen to be listening to this episode, I'll send it out to you. I apologize, man. I thought your Patriots were going to lose. They made me look like an idiot, made me look like an ass. So I give you this. Good win for you guys. Next week, you do guys play against the Seattle Seahawks. I don't know how that one's going to go. As for the Bengals, next week, they play the Chiefs, which is going to be a very, very tough one. So we'll wait and see when we get to that one. But a breakdown of this game is a recap. Ramondre Stevenson, a 3-yard run. Joey Sly, 32-yard field goal. First quarter there was no scoring. So the second quarter was Ramondre Stevenson scoring for a 3-yard run. Joey Sly got a 32-yard field goal. Third quarter, Joey Sly got a 35-yard field goal. Zach Moss got a 5-yard run. Joey Sly got a 37-yard field goal. And Evan McPherson had a 51-yard field goal. Leaders for the Patriots, Jacoby Brissett, 15 attempts, 121 yards. Ramondre Stevenson, 25 carries, 120 yards, and 1 touchdown. And Austin Hooper, 2 catches for a 31 yard. As for the Patriots, they play next Sunday against the Seattle Seahawks at 4 o'clock. As for the Bengals, they play against the Chiefs at 4, which is going to be a very, very tough game and a good one. And I don't know if Jamar Chase is going to play in this one or not, but I know he wants his money, so there is not part. Is he going to half-ass or not? Because literally the Bengals do not have Tyler Boyd anymore. He's in Tennessee. Joe Mixon is with the Texans. And T. Higgins, I don't think, was anywhere to be seen. So we'll wait and see what occurs when we get to that game. Next game that I got in the right and wrong is Vikings-Giants, which I got wrong picking the Giants. And I really, out of this, I should have learned never to pick the Giants again. I thought they could, but we're going to get into this game right now.
Where DWALK was wrong.
Donald throws 2 touchdown passes, and Van Ginkel scores on a one-handed interception. Vikings easily top Giants 26. Yeah, which they did. They easily did handle them. Because last year on opening day when they played the Cowboys, they scored nothing, and this year they got 6. And they had the worst uniforms ever and stole those from the Montreal Canadiens. And I'm shocked the Montreal Canadiens are not suing the Giants right now for copyright infringement for those ugly-ass uniforms. Yes, I know it's the 100-year anniversary, and those throw-ups, but they were the ugly-ass uniforms ever. But here we go. The recap and breakdown of this game is Graham Gano, 23-yard field goal. Aaron Jones, 3-yard run. Justin Jefferson, 3-yard pass from Sam Darnold. Jalen Naylor, 21-yard pass from Sam Darnold. Graham Gano, 50-yard field goal. Andrew Van Ginkel, 10-yard interception return for a pick 6. No scoring in the fourth quarter. Out of this whole thing, the Giants literally made Sam Darnold literally look like an all-pro on the Vikings. They literally made him almost look like Warren Moon and Dante Culpepper. The only thing that was missing was Randy Moss and Chris Carter for him. They literally made him look like an all-star. Now, I'm not going to say that Sam Darnold's good. We all know the Giants are not that good, and they'll make any team look good. But out of this was bad. And this is the reason why that Saquon did the smartest thing and literally took his ball and went to Philadelphia and did that. Because if he would have stayed in New York, he's not. You guys are not worth a damn. And Malik Neighbors is the only thing that you have. And I don't know how long that's going to be. He's got to endure this bullshit because you literally signed Danny Jones to 4 years based off of what? One playoff victory against the Vikings in 2022. And then after that, getting horrendously bitch slapped by the Eagles in the divisional. And then after that, you didn't show shit. Well, I can say the fact that Daniel Jones was injured, which makes the point in that. But literally, you guys are stuck with him. But break down this game for the leaders for the Vikings. Sam Darnold, 19 attempts, 208 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Let's see. Aaron Jones, 14 carries, 94 yards, and 1 touchdown. And Justin Jefferson, 4 receptions, 59 yards, and 1 TD. The Vikings this Sunday play against the San Francisco 49ers. As for the Giants, they play the Washington Commanders. Next game that I got right and wrong is Titans-Bears, which I got right picking the Bears.
Where DWALK was right.
Caleb Williams has a rough debut, but gets bailed out by Bears defense in 24-17 win over Titans. Caleb Williams' debut wasn't as good as it was. And I know it's the first game, but we got to see a little bit more out. He did have a good preseason. Like I said, everybody doesn't have their good first game. Hell, Rerun wasn't all that funny when he was on comedy at the time. But it was only his first game and his first start. But we got to see a little bit more before we can decide, hey, is he the real deal? Is he going to get the Bears to a playoffs? Or is he going to be, I'm not going to say a bust just yet because we got to see more. You can't call somebody a bust in year one. But we got to see a little bit more out of him. But the Bears do have a defense, and they bailed him out to get that win. But a breakdown out of this game is Tony Pollard, 26-yard run. Nick Folk, 40-yard field goal. Chig Okunawa, 17-yard pass from Will Levis. Cairo Santos, 24-yard field goal. Jonathan Owens, 21-yard return for a punt, block punt. Cairo Santos, 50-yard field goal. Cairo Santos, 48-yard field goal. Tyreek Stevenson, 43-yard interception return for a pick six. Caleb Williams passes DeAndre Swift for a 2-point conversion was successful. Leaders for the Bears were Caleb Williams, 14 attempts, 29 and 93 yards. DeAndre Swift, 10 carries, 30 yards. And DJ Moore, 5 catches for 36 yards. For the Bears, they play this Sunday night against the Houston Texans. We'll see how this game is going to be. As for the Tennessee Titans, they play against the New York Jets. Next game that I got right and wrong is Panthers-Saints, which I got right picking the Saints.
Where DWALK was right.
Derek Carr and the Saints rout the Panthers 47-10 in Clint Kubiak's play calling debut. There's a reason when I started this podcast that I said that the Carolina Panthers will go winless. And looking at that right there is proving that point right now. And everybody can say, oh, it's only week one. It's only week one. No. Look at that entire schedule and go through it with a fine-tooth comb. And you don't think that the Carolina Panthers will not go winless. I don't see a win any shape or form right now. They may be able to. I might give them one win. And that will probably be against the Giants, which is going to be that abomination of an international game we have to deal with in Germany. That is the only one that I possibly might give them. If they do beat the Giants when we cross that bridge when we get to the Germany game, if they do, the wrong button gets pushed.
Where DWALK was wrong.
For that. But they lose to the Giants, they will be the first 0-17 team. Because again, I don't see any talent on this team. I am sorry, I don't. I don't see anything. And when I did the schedule prediction for them, I could not predict a win. Other side of the ball, as for the Saints, Derek Carr had a great game, and the Saints, that's what you do. You beat up on a bad team. Next week, they do have a tough one, because this time you have to play a defense. You have to play the Dallas Cowboys. For the Carolina Panthers, they have to play the LA Chargers with Jim Harbaugh, which I already know is not going to be a win. But out of all this was the Saints literally in that whole first half. Like I said, I have the ticket on YouTube, and watching that game to the point I had to flip through, to the point I literally stopped watching because the Saints literally had done so much damage. But that's all I can give you right there. Is literally the Saints had this. But a breakdown of this game is for Rashid Shaheed, 59-yard pass from Derek Carr. Blake Grupe, 57-yard field goal. Foster Moreau, 3-yard pass from Derek Carr. Blake Grupe, 44-yard field goal. Blake Grupe, 52-yard field goal. Juwan Johnson, 16-yard pass from Derek Carr. Eddie Pinero, 43-yard field goal. Alvin Kamara, 1-yard run. Bryce Young, 3-yard run. Blake Groupie, 39-yard field goal. And Jamal Williams, a 14-yard run. Leaders for the New Orleans Saints is Derek Carr, 19 of 23 for 200 yards and 3 touchdowns. Alvin Kamara, 15 carries, 83 yards, and 1 touchdown. And Rashid Shaheed, 3 catches, 73 yards, and 1 TD. For the Saints, they play this Sunday at 1 o'clock against the Dallas Cowboys. And for the Panthers, they play against the LA Chargers, which is going to be loss number 2. Next game that I got right in the right and wrong is Steelers-Falcons, which I got wrong picking Atlanta.
Where DWALK was wrong.
Field steps in for Wilson. Boswell boots 6 field goals to lead Steelers past Falcons 18-10. Russell Wilson was active in pads, but they cleaned him inactive, and then he put Justin Fields as a starter. Now, I don't know who is it going to be next week for Pittsburgh when they play up against, who does Pittsburgh play next week? Pittsburgh plays against the Broncos this Sunday. I don't know if it's going to be Justin Fields. I don't know if it's going to go back to Russ. But it's literally a quarterback conundrum of who's it going to be. But out of this game it wasn't that good of a game, to be honest with you, because I was more watching Dolphins and Jaguars, nothing against the Falcons or the Steelers. But literally, this game was just straight field goals. Kirk Cousins is who we thought he was yet again, and it looks like Atlanta may have overpaid him because he threw 2 interceptions in a game against the Steelers. But a breakdown out of this game is Younghoe Koo, 24-yard field goal. Chris Boswell, 57-yard field goal. Chris Boswell, 51-yard field goal. Kyle Pitts, 12-yard pass from Kirk Cousins. Chris Boswell, 44-yard field goal. Chris Boswell, 56-yard field goal. Chris Boswell, 40-yard field goal. Chris Boswell, 25-yard field goal. Here's the sad thing out of this was the Falcons lost. Pittsburgh did not score any touchdowns, and you lost to the kicker. And that's embarrassing, and that is bad. Literally. But out of this, we don't know next week who the quarterback is going to be. Is it going to be Russ or is it going to be Fields? As for the Falcons, they play a tough one Monday Night Football against the Philadelphia Eagles in their opener at home for the Eagles. For the Steelers, they play the Denver Broncos. Leaders for the Pittsburgh Steelers were Justin Fields, 17 attempts, 20 out of 23, 156 yards. Najee Harris, 20 carries, 70 yards. And George Pickens, 6 catches for 85 yards. The Steelers play the Broncos this Sunday, and for the Falcons, they play the Eagles this Monday night on Monday Night Football in Philadelphia. Next game that I got right in the right and wrong is Jaguars-Dolphins, which I got right picking the Dolphins.
Where DWALK was right.
But before we get into this game, if anybody has seen the body cam footage of Tyreek Hill getting detained before the game, I don't know what occurred, but they're saying he got cited for reckless driving, aggressive behavior, and I don't know if this was just a cop trying to make himself famous because he wanted to arrest Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill still did play in that game, and he did get a touchdown, mocking his arrest with the celebration. But out of all this was, the Dolphins do have their player. I don't know if there's going to be any crackdown from the league, which I think there shouldn't be. I think it was just some idiot cop trying to make himself famous. But out of this game is Jason Sanders makes 52-yard field goal as time expired, and Dolphins rally past Jaguars 2017. Literally, I watched this game from front to back, and this was a very, very good game. It was very competitive. The lead was getting changed back and forth, but Jason Sanders did get the field goal to clinch the victory for the Miami Dolphins. But a breakdown of this game is Travis Etienne, 1-yard run. Brian Thomas Jr., 14-yard pass from Trevor Lawrence. Devin Akane, 1-yard run. Cam Little, 53-yard field goal. Tyreek Hill, 80-yard touchdown pass from Tua. From Tua Tagovailoa, Jason Sanders, 37-yard field goal, and Jason Sanders, 52-yard field goal. Leaders for the Dolphins is Tua Tagovailoa, 23 attempts, 38 yards, and 1 touchdown. Jeff Wilson Jr., 5 carries, 26 yards. Tyreek Hill, 7 catch, 130 yards, and 1 touchdown. For the Dolphins this Thursday, they play against the Buffalo Bills at home. As for the Jaguars, they play against the Cleveland Browns. So wait and see. Both of these teams are very, very good. I wouldn't be shocked again, even though it's week 1, I wouldn't be shocked we see these two in a rematch in the playoffs. But it was very, very good and competitive. Next game that I got right in the right and wrong is Texans-Colts, which I got right picking the Texans.
Where DWALK was right.
Stephon Diggs, Joe Mixon combined to lead Texans past Colts 29-27 in their season opener. With these new weapons that C.J. Stroud has, Stephon Diggs and Joe Mixon, there are the reason why the expectations are high for the Houston Texans. As I said in the beginning of this podcast, when I start, as far as I have the Houston Texans going, is maybe their first AFC championship and maybe their first Super Bowl, but it would be losing in a Super Bowl to an NFC team. Don't know against whom just yet. But out of this it looks like Stroud is picking up where he left off in last year in his rookie year and transferring it over this year with this one. As for the Colts, they do have something in Anthony Richardson. Now, this is a team I'm not going to sleep on like I did last year. This is a team I don't know how they're going to go. Even though I don't have them making playoffs, they could still do it, even though it's week 1. But give this team some time. They're like right now in the middle trying to find an identity for themselves. I think they do have their quarterback in Anthony Richardson, and you have Jonathan Taylor. But there's going to be a lot to be desired, and we'll see what happens with them. Breakdown out of this game is Kami Fairbairn, 51-yard field goal. Alec Pierce, 60-yard pass from Anthony Richardson. Kami Fairbairn, 50-yard field goal. Stephon Diggs, 9-yard pass from C.J. Stroud. 2-point run conversion failed. Kami Fairbairn, 51-yard field goal. Jonathan Taylor, 5-yard run. Joe Mixon, 3-yard run. Ashton Doolin, 50-yard pass from Anthony Richardson. Stephon Diggs, 2-yard pass from C.J. Stroud. Anthony Richardson, 3-yard run. As for the Texans, they play this Sunday night against the Chicago Bears. For the Colts, they play against the Green Bay Packers without Jordan Love. So this one might not be a tough one for them. I'm not going to say easy, but you can't sleep on that backup just yet. We'll wait and see when I give my picks this Wednesday. Next game we got right in the right and wrong, which I got right was picking Raiders Chargers, which I got right picking the Chargers.
Where DWALK was right.
J.K. Dobbins rushes for 135 yards as the Chargers beat the Raiders 22-10 in Jim Harbaugh's debut. Jim Harbaugh gets his first win after coming back into the lead since 2014. The Chargers look good. They did not charge this game. So now you have a coach that's going to instill discipline and is really going to take this serious and get on their asses about this. So the charging term has officially died right now when Jim Harbaugh got there. As for the Raiders, it's going to be a little bit tough slate because you have Gardner Minshew as your quarterback. They have the other games they're going to have to go against. They got a tough one against the Ravens. They no longer have Josh Jacobs because he's with the Packers. But for the Chargers, next week they play up against the Carolina Panthers, which they should go 2-0. They have a win there. But for the Raiders, they have a tough one against the Ravens. So a breakdown out of this game is Cameron Dicker, 53-yard field goal. Alexander Mattinson, 31-yard pass from Gardner Minshew. Cameron Dicker, 25-yard field goal. Cameron Dicker, 24-yard field goal. J.K. Dobbins, 12-yard run. Daniel Carlson, 32-yard field goal. Lad McConkey, 10-yard pass from Justin Herbert, 2-point run conversion failed. There was a fight between these two teams before the game started because this is a rivalry, very, very high tense. But the Chargers got the win. They are 1-0. They play on Sunday against the Carolina Panthers. As for the Raiders, they play against a tough one against the Baltimore Ravens. Leaders for the Chargers are Justin Herbert, 17 attempts, 26 yards, 144, 1 touchdown. J.K. Dobbins, 10 carries, 135 yards, and a touchdown. And let me see how he says. Lad McConkey, 5 catches, 39 yards, and 1 TD. The Chargers play up against the Carolina Panthers this Sunday, and the Raiders play up against the Ravens. Next game that I got right in the right and wrong is Broncos Seahawks, which I got right picking the Seahawks.
Where DWALK was right.
Kenneth Walker III sparks Seahawks rally as Seattle tops Denver 26-20 in Mike McDonald's debut. Seattle, we know, is good at home. They still have that same, but sometimes it is tough. Literally out of this whole thing, Bo Nix was out there for a long time throwing 40 passes, in which he should not have been out there for due to Sean Payton's coaching style. I don't know what he was trying to do out there, but Seattle did get the win. They still have the same weapons with Geno Smith, Kenneth Walker III, DK Metcalf, and Joku Smith. They were wearing their old Seattle Seahawks uniforms. Seattle Seahawks did get the win here, going 1-0. So they know they next week play against the New England Patriots in New England. It's going to be a little bit of a tough one there for them. As for the Broncos, they play up against Pittsburgh, either dealing with Russell Wilson or Justin Fields. I do not know. But a breakdown out of this game is Will Lutz, 35-yard field goal. Jason Myers, 50-yard field goal. Then there was a safety by the Broncos. Will Lutz got a 30-yard field goal. Geno Smith got a 34-yard run, 2-point conversion failed. Zach Allen had a safety. Will Lutz, 45-yard field goal. Kenneth Walker III, 23-yard run. Jason Myers, 28-yard field goal. Zach Charbonnet, 30-yard pass from Geno Smith, and Bo Nix, 4-yard run. Leaders for the Seahawks, Geno Smith, 18 of 25, 171 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Kenneth Walker III, 20 carry, 103 yards, 1 touchdown. No relation. My last name is Walker. TJ Lockett, 6 catches for 77 yards. The Seahawks play up against the New England Patriots in Foxborough. As for the Broncos, they play up against the Pittsburgh Steelers, either against Fields or Russell Wilson. Next one I got right and wrong was Commanders Bucks, which I got right picking the Bucks.
Where DWALK was right.
Baker Mayfield and Buccaneers rout Commanders 37-20 to spoil Jaden Daniels' debut. Tampa's looking like the same as it was last year. They're proving they can do this without Brady because literally Baker is proving he is not ass. Can he stay consistent and try to get over that hump and try what he tried to do, and when he was with Cleveland, when he got his Browns to an AFC division before losing to the Chiefs. Can he get back to another divisional or somewhere farther in the playoffs? But out of all this, Evans, Godwin, all of them look good. For Washington, you're in a rebuild. I know with Jaden Daniels was his first game, so you're going to try to get a little bit more out of him. We'll wait and see what we get out of Jaden. But a breakdown out of this game is Chase McLaughlin, 56-yard field goal. Chase McLaughlin, 34-yard field goal. Mike Evans, 17-yard pass from Baker Mayfield. Brian Robinson Jr., 7-yard run. Chase McLaughlin, 29-yard field goal. Chris Godwin, 4-yard pass from Baker Mayfield. Jaden Daniels, 1-yard run. Jalen McMillian, 32-yard pass from Baker Mayfield. Mike Evans, 1-yard pass from Baker Mayfield. Jaden Daniels, 1-yard run. Leaders for the Bucs is Baker Mayfield, 24 attempts, 24 out of 30, 29 yards and 4 touchdowns. Bucky Irvin, 9 carries, 62 yards. And Chris Godwin, 8 catches, 83 yards, and 1 touchdown. Leader. So out of this one, Washington next week plays up against the New York Giants. As for Tampa Bay, they play up against I think they play Detroit on Sunday, which should be a very, very interesting game. Next one that I got right and wrong, which I happily got wrong, which was Dallas and Cleveland, which I did pick the Cleveland Browns, and this was before the money had got to Dak at that time. So I will say this now to every Cowboy fan right now that is listening. I am sorry that I got that wrong. Now officially, Dak Prescott can beat a team that is not the New York Giants in Week 1. So to all Cowboy fans listening, I am sorry.
Where DWALK was wrong.
Which I'm happily that I got wrong in one instance for once. Because the Dallas Cowboys and Dak Prescott made me look like an ass. And I'm glad that they were the ones that did it. But let's go to this game right here. Dak Prescott leads to 33-17 romp over the Browns in opener after getting a new 4-year contract. Yes, he did. Before game time, Dak Prescott got a 4-year deal for $240 million. And literally, right before it, and here's the thing. I'm not going to change my pick and what it was because I'm going to say what I mean. I'm not going to run from this. This isn't the Merv Griffin show. This ain't Johnny Carson. This ain't Jay Leno. This ain't Jimmy Fallon, etc., etc. I'm going to stay with what I said. I said what I said, and because I know how Dak Prescott is Week 1 if it ain't the New York Giants. He now has proved me that point. He can now beat a team that is not the New York Giants in Week 1 on opening day. So as of this moment, the curse of Dak Prescott not beating the Giants or anyone else has been lifted at this moment. But out of this game, watching it was the Cowboys looked pretty good out of this one. Dak Prescott had a good game. He did get pressure. He did get sacked once by Myles Garrett. He did have a fumble, but didn't go the other way. He did get Brandon Cooks pretty good wide open. Defense looked very, very good, different under Mike Zimmer because they were literally getting to Deshaun Watson. They caused a lot of pressure. Carlson held Amari Cooper in check. And for Deshaun Watson, he is not the same as it was when he was in Houston. That form is not there. Yes, I know he's coming back from suspension. Last year, he was coming off of a shoulder injury. But in this instance, Deshaun Watson is not the answer. I was Cleveland. I would get your money back and try to trade something to get it back. But literally out of this one, we'll give a breakdown of this game. And Tom Brady didn't do bad on commentary for this game, so he didn't do that bad. So breakdown out of this game is, and Trayvon Diggs did get an interception after coming back from his ACL injury. So a breakdown out of this game is Dustin Hopkins, 51-yard field goal. Brandon Cooks, 21-yard pass from Dak Prescott. Ezekiel Elliott had a 3-yard run. Brandon Aubrey, a 57-yard field goal. Brandon Aubrey, 40-yard field goal. And let me get on the subject of Brandon Aubrey. There was a delay of game where he got a 66-yard field goal, but was a delay of game. I believe he would have hit that 71-yarder. I believe he would have. Even if he did miss or did not make it, I don't think the outcome of the game would have changed. I think Dallas probably still would have won that game. Kevontae Turpin got a 60-yard punt return touchdown run. Jerry Jeudy a 6-yard pass from Deshaun Watson. Brandon Aubrey 50-yard field goal. Brandon Aubrey 46-yard field goal. And Jerome Ford a 2-yard run, which was a garbage time touchdown. Leaders for the Dallas Cowboys, Dak Prescott 19-32, 179 yards and a touchdown. Ezekiel Elliott 10 carries, 40 yards and 1 touchdown. And CeeDee Lamb 5 catches for 61 yards. For the Dallas Cowboys, they play against the New Orleans Saints at home in their home opener at 1 o'clock. For the Cleveland Browns, they play up against the Jacksonville Jaguars, which is going to be a very, very tough one for them. Next game that I got right in the right and wrong is Lions-Rams, which I got right picking the Lions.
Where DWALK was right.
David Montgomery's 1-yard touchdown run in overtime lives the Lions a 26-20 win over the Rams. This was a very good game. This game went to overtime. I do hate the overtime rule. I wish it was like college football where it can go to sudden death. But no, it does not. But the Lions did get the job done. They got the victory. So unfortunately, the Rams did suffer an injury in the end with Puka Nacua. He's going to be out for 4 weeks or probably more. But it's going to be very tough with him because now you have to rely on Cooper Kupp to get the job done and Kyron Robinson. So out of all this, a breakdown out of this game for the Lions-Rams. Joshua Carty, 41-yard field goal. Jake Bates, 25-yard field goal. Jameer Gibbs, a 1-yard run. Jamison Williams, 52-yard pass from Jared Goff. Kyron Williams, 2-yard run. Joshua Carty, 26-yard field goal. Cooper Kupp, 9-yard pass from Matthew Stafford. Josh Bates, 32-yard field goal. And David Montgomery got a 1-yard touchdown to seal the victory in overtime. Leaders for the Detroit Lions, 18 out of 28, 217 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 intercept for Jared Goff. David Montgomery, 17 carries, 91 yards, and 1 touchdown. And Jamison Williams, 5 catches, 121 yards, and 1 TD. For the Lions, they play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I think at home or in Tampa. Let me check. I think it's in Tampa. No, it's in Detroit. So they're in Detroit. As for the Rams, they play against the Arizona Cardinals without Puka Nacua. It's going to be a very tough one. We'll wait and see when we get that one. And in our final game, which was the Monday night opener, which I got right, which is 49ers and the Jets, which I got right picking the 49ers.
Where DWALK was right.
The 49ers spoil Aaron Rodgers' return with a 32-19 win over the Jets, which they did because Aaron Rodgers did not look like himself in that game. And it did not look good for him, and he was getting his frustrations were kicking in, and it did not look good. They barely could muster off stuff. Didn't use Brees. They got Brees Hall, but they didn't use Garrett Wilson the right way. Defense could not get to Purdy. And here's another thing: the 49ers were without Christian McCaffrey this game when this game started. So he was out with a calf, and they had an unheard gem by the name of Jordan Mason. Now, once McCaffrey comes back, I would not stop with Jordan Mason. I would try to make this a 1-2 combination. Just try to take some of that load off of Christian McCaffrey because Christian McCaffrey is injury prone and he is not at times stays healthy. So if you want to try to keep him healthy, literally have a 1-2 committee with Mason and him. But I wouldn't say use Debo as much because I would like to have Debo in receiving. If you're going to use Debo for running wise, I'd use Debo in goal line situations. But in this one, a breakdown out of this game. Jake Moody, 46-yard field goal. Brees Hall, 3-yard field goal. 3-yard run. Jake Moody, 51-yard field goal. Debo Samuel Sr., 2-yard run. Jake Moody, 31-yard field goal. Jordan Mason, 5-yard run. Jake Moody, 53-yard field goal. Alan Zard, 36-yard pass from Aaron Rodgers, 2-point conversion failed. Jake Moody, 23-yard field goal. Jake Moody, 42-yard field goal. Alan Zard, 3-yard pass from Tyrod Taylor. That was the fact because the Jets were done and they seen enough out of him, and it was over. So that was just a garbage time touchdown. But a breakdown of this game: Brock Purdy, 19-10, 29 yards, 231 yards. Jordan Mason, 28 carry, 147 yards, and 1 TD. And Juwan Jennings, 5 catches, 64 yards. The San Francisco 49ers play against the Minnesota Vikings this Sunday. And as for the Jets, they play the Titans. So all in all, I had a very good week. All mostly right, not that a lot of wrong, thank God. We're going to set up a schedule for tomorrow. I'll be available from, I'm on my vacation. We'll say 7 to midnight again. Thursday, we won't do them because of the game. Friday, maybe. I'm going to think about it. I'll come back to that. Saturday, yes, and then Sunday, maybe as well. But all in all, before we leave, it's been enough time for talk. It's time for kickoff. I'm Dave Walker, and we'll see you on the field. Goodbye, everybody.